Hello and welcome back to EFD. Sit back and relax while we highlight the exact moments that made some of the most successful players in the game. 10. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. We now know Zlatan as PSG's highest ever goalscorer and Sweden's most decorated footballing export. The Man Mountain's career-defining moment came versus England in the first game at Sweden's new stadium. Ibrahimovic became the first goalscorer at Stockholm's Friend Arena in his goal-scoring rampage against the Three Lions back in 2012. He scored all 4 goals in the 4-3 victory, including a delicious bicycle kick from 34 yards that Steven Gerrard admitted was one of the best goals he had ever seen. It was an emphatic response to everyone that had criticised him for not performing on a big enough stage. Although at 31 he had already had a pretty successful career, briefly in Spain and in Italy, but it was from this moment that his stock really skyrocketed. The very same year, Zlatan moved to PSG, when their dominance of the French top flight began. Zlatan and his teammates won 4 Ligue 1 titles in 4 seasons, with his most prolific campaign being in the 2015-16 season when he scored 38 goals in 29 appearances, 10 more than his previous best. And at the ripe old age of 36, he's continued to impress, most recently for Mourinho's United, as he's proved he can perform in England as well as against England. 9. Wayne Rooney. Rooney's debut for Manchester United was a career-defining moment that set the bar for the rest of his time at Old Trafford. The Red Devils had spent £25.6 million on the once a blue, always a blue teenager, a figure that had taken some convincing in the Manchester boardroom. They thought it was a rather large sum for a striker that had only scored 15 goals for Everton in 67 appearances. However, eyebrows didn't stay raised for long. On his debut for the club, a Champions League match against Fenerbahce, the young striker lived up to his title of the most expensive teenager in the world with a sensational performance to help United win 6-2. Working alongside his new strike partner Ruud van Nistelrooy, Rooney scored his first goal within his first 15 minutes in a United shirt. And not lacking in confidence and on 2 goals already, Rooney batted away his senior Van Nistelrooy and Giggs to take the free kick, tuck away his third and claim the match ball. From this point on, Rooney had really made his mark in Manchester's red. He went on to become United's all-time leading goalscorer in his final season at Old Trafford. 8. Paul Gascoigne. Gazza is an absolute icon in English football, and if one moment in his almost 20-year-long career stands out, it has to be his tears in Turin. Gascoigne had had a sublime tournament, having played exceptionally against Egypt, Belgium and Cameroon, en route to the semi-finals of Italia 90. Against West Germany, Gazza raised his game even more, but a poorly timed tackle earned him a yellow card. Gazza struggled to hold back his tears as he came to the realisation that he would miss the final should England progress, making one of the most iconic photos in footballing history. Despite this error in judgment, Gazza did in fact make it into the team of the tournament as the only Englishman, in a side consisting of the likes of Klinsmann and Maradona. 7. Neymar. Neymar's career-defining moment came more recently than most on this list, in a game that's been hailed the greatest comeback ever in the Champions League, and one that he says is the best game in his entire career. After being humiliated in a 4-0 defeat to PSG in the first leg, Barcelona defied the 200-to-1 odds to pull off the greatest comeback of all time. With Neymar as the conductor, Barcelona thumped PSG 6-1 to win 6-5 on aggregate and send them through to the quarter-finals. Neymar provided a goal, an assist and scored a penalty in the game as he had 109 touches, double the 63 managed by Messi, and over treble Suarez's 33 touches. His stunning performance was potentially the catalyst for his move to Ligue 1, as the following summer, PSG made the 25-year-old Brazilian the most expensive player ever, paying €222 million to take him from Barcelona to Paris. Having been at Barcelona since 2013 and having topped the league twice and claiming a Champions League trophy, Neymar's move away from Messi, Suarez and the rest of the Barca team was bold. But his transfer to PSG could prove to be the real defining moment in his career, as he now has the chance to show that he can make magic away from his teammates at the Nou Camp. 6. Zinedine Zidane. Zidane's illustrious career has had many notable points. He has won league titles in Spain and Italy and the Champions League and the World Cup as a player. As a manager, his trophy cabinet is looking healthy too, with a league winners' medal and having won the Champions League twice already. However, we've chosen his explosive performance in the Champions League final back in 2002 when he scored that goal. The ridiculous bicycle kick volley against Bayer Leverkusen that gave Real Madrid their 9th European Cup. Real Madrid had finished third in a disappointing league campaign and lost to Deportivo in the Copa del Rey final, meaning that the 2002 Cup final was an important moment for both club and player, as Zidane proved he could handle the pressure and that he was worth every penny of his hefty price tag. However, the Frenchman has not always been so composed in cup finals, going on 4 years, and Zidane completely lost his head in what could be considered another career-defining moment. The headbutt that shook the world of football from front and centre stage of the World Cup final between France and Italy. He'd converted a penalty for France to go 1-up and became only the 4th player in history to score in 2 separate cup finals. But Italy made it 1-1, and the 2 goal scorers provided yet more drama when the Italian wound Zidane up with slurs about his sister. But let's forget about that. Surely he's redeemed himself with his managerial success at the Bernabeu. 5. Ronaldo. One of football's greatest conspiracy theories. What actually happened to Ronaldo in the 1998 World Cup? No one's really sure, but what we do know is that this was an absolutely pivotal point in his career. Ronaldo had had a spectacular World Cup. He was Brazil's top goal scorer with 4 over the tournament and had been a driving force taking Brazil to the final against France. However, on the day of the final, Ronaldo suffered a seizure whilst in the hotel with his teammates. On the verge of winning the Golden Boot, he was ruled out of the game. But just before kickoff, despite his near-death experience, his name appeared on the team sheet. Although Brazil lost to the host nation 3-0 in Paris, this incident was huge in Ronaldo's career, and it spurred him on to victory in the tournament 4 years later. In the 2002 World Cup, Ronaldo took home the prize for the world's worst haircut, the Golden Boot with 8 goals, and the tournament trophy for his home nation, Brazil. 4. Steven Gerrard. A lot of the players have found these moments come during the most testing and difficult games in their careers, and Liverpool's Steven Gerrard is no different. The one-club man had been constantly criticised by limiting his career by staying at Liverpool, and in 2005 he had just a lonely League Cup title and an FA Cup to his name. But during that famous night in Istanbul, we saw Steven Gerrard's most career-defining moment. Liverpool were 3-0 down in the first 45 minutes at the hands of a superior and star-studded AC Milan side that included Kaká, Shevchenko and Maldini. But at half-time, Stevie G took control and gave what the Liverpool players described as the best half-time speech they had ever heard. Gerrard inspired his teammates to come back fighting against the Italians, and somehow Liverpool pulled off one of the most dramatic comebacks in Champions League final history. Scoring the first goal, Gerrard ignited the Reds' hopes, proving he was a leader on and off the pitch. The instant he lifted the Champions League trophy acted as a chance to silence his critics and prove that he was right to stay in Liverpool, as he had taken his childhood club to the dizzy heights of Champions League success. 3. Johan Cruyff. The Dutch legend won 3 Ballon d'Ors and mentored Pep Guardiola into management. But more than that, Cruyff was part of a footballing revolution. The Ajax and Barcelona man was the pioneer of total football. Holland's total football was based around quick passing, fast movement and constant rotation of position. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Cruyff was kind of like a hybrid of Iniesta and Messi, but 50 years ago. And it was back in the 1970s that the world was first exposed to this fluid style of football, of which Cruyff was the nucleus. Despite losing at the final post, the 1974 World Cup was a defining tournament for the Dutch icon who wowed on an international stage. But really, we can pinpoint his true career-defining moment to the exact minute when he dropped his shoulder, sent Jan Olsen the wrong way, and the Cruyff turn was born. Not unlike the stars of today, the idol of Amsterdam even broke transfer records back in the day, costing Barcelona what was a huge $2 million in 1973. That's double the previous record fee. An utter legend of the game, inspired so many as a player and as a manager, and his style of play lives on today. 2. Lionel Messi. It's been a decade since Messi set his stall as one of the, or maybe the, greatest footballing talents of all time. At just 19 years old, sat in a team made up of legends like Ronaldinho and Eto'o, Messi scored his first hat-trick for the Catalans in El Clasico. In the final minute of the game, when it all looked lost at 3-2, the teenager netted his third goal to equalise for Barcelona and mark his first hat-trick for the side. It was the type of performance that we've become used to as we're spoiled by his brilliance almost weekly. But to stun the crowd on such a huge stage was something very special so early on in his Barca career. Although that year was not Barcelona's most decorated, it was fundamental in developing the Barcelona that would reap so much success in the future, as Messi emerged as a key player. With just 65 appearances and 25 goals, Messi gained a place in the FIFA World 11 for the first time. The same year saw him win the Young Player of the Year, the Argentine Player of the Year, the Bravo Award, the Goal of the Season and a slot in Copa America's Dream Team, as everyone started to wake up to his excellence. The Argentine, who crossed the Atlantic when he was only 13, has since scored a huge 28 La Liga hat-tricks, 4 Ballon d'Or awards and over 500 goals for the Spanish side. There aren't really words for Messi, are there? 1. Cristiano Ronaldo. Cristiano Ronaldo tops Messi for one of the few times in our top 10s, as his energetic nature and ability to steal the show pushes him over the edge into first place. And before you all kick off, I'm intentionally leaving out other massive moments, like his goal against Arsenal, taking United number 7 shirt and his move to Real. Instead, I'm looking at his performance in the 2016 Euros, when he managed the only thing Messi hasn't, to carry his national side. Ronaldo virtually dragged Portugal kicking and screaming over the winners' line to secure a European title for the country who has always been in Spain's shadow. Having scored 3 times in the tournament, Ronaldo equalled Platini's all-time record of Euros goals, while he also broke the record for the most appearances in one tournament, with 21. Firm underdogs against the host nation, Portugal's hopes rested on CR7. After a heavy but fair tackle from Payet and 2 failed attempts to play through his knee injury, Ronaldo was forced off the pitch in tears, a one-man symbol for the whole of Portugal. But he went from captain to manager from the sidelines, where he spent the game more animated than Conte and Klopp combined. And Ronaldo's teammates managed to take it home for him as he lifted the cup as captain, proving that he can be a team player sometimes. He said that he had a lot of feelings. We know Cristiano. Thank you for watching this top 10, and if we missed any out, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.